Welcome back to our podcast at Home on the Lake Shore, where we talk about home loans with our local home loan experts at UnitedOne Credit Union. My name is Mike, and this is episode number 29. I'd like to welcome back in our local home loan experts, Carrie, Julie, Marla. Good morning. Hello to you all.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Oh, I love that. I love that response. So much energy. You can tell that spring has sprung mostly, and we got the warm weather, and you may have heard another voice in there as well. We have a special guest joining us today. I'd like to introduce our listeners to Mike Howe of Mike Howe Builders in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. Hi, Mike.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah. Excited to talk about some topics today about those that might be interested in building a home or those that are looking for a home remodel, home makeovers, expanding their home and things like that, all kinds of different topics that we could talk about. And I'll really have you and our home loan experts take the conversation forward today. But before we do, Mike, we do have a treat that we do in each one of our podcasts, especially when Julie's on the show, which she is today. And that's our Julie's Joke of the show, which has become quite popular, quite famous.
You're a local celebrity, Julie. No pressure.
Yeah, no. No. When you hear the joke, you'll know. So because it's the springtime of year and horse racing season has officially started, I have this one lined up. What ailment do horses fear the most?
Charlie horse.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That would have been my guess too.
Yeah.
Hay fever.
Oh.
Yep. I'll be back next month.
I think Marla should get half a point. That one worked.
True.
Yeah.
True. That's
It
was a good
guess.
one.
Yes.
Yeah. That was a good guess. So Mike, welcome again to the show. Now that you know the quality of production we have, the type of talent we surround ourselves with here on at Home on the Lake Shore in our podcast, thank you so much for joining us because we have the local home loan experts, but now we have a local home building expert on the show. So areas of expertise, I know our team here has put together some great questions and some things to run by you. I don't know if they've warned you about these ahead of time or if you're just going to wing it.
Just wing it. Always wing it.
All righty. Well, sounds good. So let's dive right in. Which one of our home loan experts would like to go first and ask Mike a question and get the ball rolling here?
I can if you want.
Please do, Carrie. Go ahead.
So, Mike, when you first talk to someone about a construction loan, what is the best thing for them to do ahead of time? Like if someone knows they want to build a house, but they're just at ground zero, give us a little rundown of what you would like from them.
Sure. Typically, they'll ask a lot of questions on the phone and try to pick my brain. And I got to leave that kind of vague and rather have them come to the office and show them what we can and cannot do. And the biggest thing you got to do with me or any builder is just be honest with them because, they're worried about what's the budget. Well, I have to explain to them, I need to know what your budget is because as soon as you are honest with me, my first question is going to be, does that include the land? Does that include landscaping, appliances, furniture? Where is your budget? What is the budget just for me to build the house? And is the house going to need well and septic or a city lot? So once I know that, then I can keep steering the ship properly to budget. Say they come in at $500,000 and I have to include the land, the lot, everything in there. I said that means your budget is closer to 400 for the house. Okay. So we have to really get honed in on that. And then I go through a list of just other questions, just trying to understand you as an individual, how many kids, the family, the size of the house, What's the reason for building now? So there's a long list of questions that I go just to understand the client and their needs.
That makes sense.
Sounds
So I
like
know
we
you
have
brought up.
Go ahead,
Oh,
Marla.
sorry.
Please
I
go
was gonna
ahead.
say, I know you brought up like, the honesty around their budget and their overall base plans for the build. Is there anything you could recommend that should be budgeted outside of that normal, like the budget plan, like a contingency or?
Yeah, to a certain point, yes. If you are buying a model home that I have done in the past, I am very accurate in that. So I will have that within a couple percentage points easily. No surprises. We don't play no gimmick games. It's straight up that. But if we start from scratch and design, there are so many variables and it takes me months to get all the stuff dialed in. And then I'm using a guess, right, to get you started. So I'll say if you're looking 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1 story, 2 story, basement, no basement. We'll go through that list and I'll say, I built this house and it cost this much. You may not like the floor plan, but is this something that works for you in general? Does it get you in the ballpark? And then from there, I have to just keep reiterating that you told me the budget. It's my job to get you to that budget. And I'm very transparent. I have to charge this much money to be in business, to run all my team and my guys, to offer you this product. So I will show you what my fee is to build the house, and we have to keep that in mind the entire process.
Question, a lot of times, or it seems to be more popular now too, that people are just doing some remodeling. Will you take any degree of remodeling, just from maybe I shouldn't say basic bathroom, because bathrooms can be complex, but from small projects up to adding bedrooms and adding second floors, what degree of remodeling do you do?
Yep. And again, we start with the needs question of what they're trying to accomplish. And then this is kind of one of my favorite parts, is using my creativity and my vision to get to your house and look at it. So once I walk through the house, I can just stare at it and say, all right, let's just talk about a bathroom. What do you hate about your current bathroom? What do you love about it? What pictures have you seen? Once you show me a picture of any of your colors, your styles, your tile, your glass, I can tell you what your budget will be. And once I stand in the room, I can usually tell you how much we can get out of this room, how we can stretch it, or if there's a lot of times there's a closet behind the bathroom where I can steal a little extra space. Right now, just if I tear your simple bathroom apart and put it back together, it's like 20 grand now. If it's deluxe, it's probably 35 to 50. And the most expensive bathroom I ever is 90. So
Wow.
it can be drastically different. And, you have to figure 3 weeks that if it's very complicated, just figure 3 weeks. And if it's not, I'll tell you. But kitchen's the same thing. Kitchen, we have to start by the simple word of $35,000 for a basic, and that has been running 55 to 60 up to 100 based on what you do. Because if I tear a wall down in the kitchen, it means all new flooring through the main level, rewiring, probably got to move a plumbing or a heating stack, and just like that, it's how the price gets there really quick. And then, well, let's just add a patio door while we're there. Well, let's move the window over, I really hate the sink location. So it's a pretty thought process. But walking through the house with the client, I will say, I'll just kind of talk just like I am, large numbers. This is the ballpark to expect. Does this scare you? What were you thinking? Once we talk out loud, what number did you have in your head? Because then again, I can dial that back and say, well, let's tackle this. Was that a client this week and they had 3 projects they wanted to do? It'd probably be $150,000 to $200,000 worth of work, and they're like, well, this is what's more important to me at this time. So I said, all right, well, let's focus on these 2. but let's talk about the other one so you can at least, so next year if you want to do it, we can have the big picture in our head.
Love it.
It's
Love it. Because so many times there's different phases that people are thinking about or that we hear about. So I love that you look at that as possibly a full picture. Love it.
Yep. With
Yeah.
having, 4 kids and family and moving myself 15 times, we know what people want and how life changes. With 4 kids at home, it's way different than now where we're at with one kind of home. He sleeps there and life changes. And
Yep.
do you host parties and activities when they come over? How often are you the one entertaining? Do your kids even live in the state anymore? And,
True.
do you babysit the grandkids? Like, tell me what your day-to-day is like. And that's how we're going to design it, because 95% of the time, it's just the 2 of you at this point.
True. True.
Mhm.
Love it. Love it. Love those questions. Do you give a worksheet to the potential borrowers or the homeowner of different things to have them think about as well, or just that walkthrough?
Just the walkthrough. I say
Love it.
next time I'm back, your ears will be smoking because the gears are grinding, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, we've kind of narrowed it down to what we want. And you spend an hour with me in your house, and I can have the whole thing upside down and redesigned in no
Inside
time.
out.
So it's back to
Nice.
dollars and
I can
cents.
attest to that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have great vision.
Yeah, and then, I mean, at Carrie's house, we literally just took out some little clutter in the hallway, and the house looks twice as big. I mean, really, it's
What started
crazy.
out just a bathroom remodel ended up with like more of a first floor remodel, and the house looks huge now. You're right.
It's not the same house, and we didn't gain any square footage.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
I think that's one of the benefits, right, of working with a local construction team, a local builder, is you guys know the area. You have partnerships and vendors that you use with quality materials. Can you
Yep.
tell us a little bit more about those partnerships, Mike, and why that would be important with some of these? Because we know there's a lot of DIY opportunities out there in some of those stores and things, but that real difference of having, a quality team that's experienced at installing these things.
Yep. I started my first at 18 years old. I've been in the construction, so I've got 32 years in construction now. And I've literally been working with UnitedOne since I was 18 on different projects. And from buying my first house to how many we have done, a team is important. So when people ask me, well, they're like, well, what do you have for lenders? I said, let me call the girls. They'll get you squared away, and we'll get you done and easy to work with. They know the process. They know how I work. We'll send you over to the other set of girls at the title company, and then once we go through the design process, I'm going to send you by the girls at Drexel. Then I'm going to send you by the girls at Gerhardt's, and
love it.
so that is just the team, the light team, and then behind the scenes, my plumbing, electrical, heating contractors are been working with me for most of these guys I've known my entire career. And they know how my schedule works, how much timing we need for everything. When I say something, it gets done. We try to, if we tell you we're going to be done on a day, our goal is to be done on that day. So that's the difference of having the team behind you. And yeah, we work really hard to bring everything to schedule and deliver you a solid project.
Excellent.
One thing we try to stress when we talk to someone about a construction loan, if they haven't been set by the builder, is how you guys work with all these subcontractors so much. Like you said, they can be there when you want them there. Can you speak a little bit to why they should hire a builder and not try to be their own general contractor?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, we've all seen horror stories, and that when you start getting into like a water leak or a plumbing leak or a flashing detail, we have got so much experience in repairing other people's work over the years that we can fix that stuff and forecast what to look for a little bit better. And by having like a solid team, they'll be like, hey, Mike, we're running into an issue. And now with FaceTime, they can say, no, that's not an issue. I knew that was coming. So let's just work on it this way together. And by having 18 guys in the field myself that work for me, we can easily just, nope, I'll send a guy over there. We got to keep the project. I need you out of there by tomorrow because insulators are going to be there. We got to get an inspection done. So, having a lot of the companies, if it's a one-man show, they can't do that as easy. Or if you leave the state of Wisconsin, there are like no, everybody's a briefcase builder. Not that that's a bad thing, but they can't just call a guy to come over here quick. They have to schedule it and get them in their schedule and, do that. So by working with us, we can have guys there scheduled accordingly. And, we work with the homeowners. Like we had to go put some trim on a window and they're like, well, tomorrow's not a good day, but let's come Thursday and we'll get that. And I said, that's fine. We'll adjust our schedule and just be there, have the doors open at 7:30. We want to be done by 11, close that project out so you can have your house back.
Nice.
Excellent. We still have a few minutes left in the show. If there's anyone else that has a question here for Mike, we've got him. We have him here. So this is great opportunity. And again, thanks, Mike, for joining us because the expertise, that's what we're all about at UnitedOne, is connecting experts with other experts to help provide that service to our communities. So whether you're a member at UnitedOne or not a member at UnitedOne, there are still resources right here in the community that you can reach out for, get started, because that's where our background is, as well as people that maybe don't know and they start asking those questions, and we can put them into contact with the right people, whether they're starting at UnitedOne or they've reached out to you in your business to try to put them into the right contact with folks. So any other questions? Or Mike, if there's something you want to make sure you share?
Elaborate on what you're talking about is, who do I start with first? Do I go to the lender first? Do I buy the land first? Just call me, let's have a meeting, and I'll walk you through the process. If you are not sure, that initial meeting goes a long way, and I can align you with the right people. Again, you come in, you buy a model house, I can start that house in 6 weeks. We'll be up and running. That's easy. If you're buying something I've done numerous times, and I can put you right through the program fast. But if we have, my husband and I were talking about it, we want to build next year. We got 3 kids, 2 dogs. We like to travel. Okay, let's put a plan together. We don't have to rush, but these are the things you're going to need to do. If you come by, the girls here in front of me, they're like, okay, they're going to need your tax returns. You're going to need your this, you're going to need that. You got to get all this stuff. And I said, go build that relationship today, especially if you haven't met them. So you can say, I'm looking to build a house next year. We have to work on this. What do you need from me? There's a lot more paperwork than you think you got to bring to the table. And then you can be like, okay. And then I just say, tell me you're working with Mike. And then we'll go through the process. And then they will know how everything goes together, and it'll be a smooth thing. So when you're ready to build, all the parts and pieces are there. So we just hit go.
Thank you.
Love
That
it.
helps
Yes.
us out a lot too.
Exactly.
Okay. Great. Okay. Any last questions though for Mike before we wrap things up? We'd love to have you back again too at some point in the future, Mike, as we're talking about different things. Or if we wanted to dive more in, we could have a show that's specifically talking about remodels. With rates where they're at and those kind of things, a lot more people are trying to find value in their homes, staying in those homes with rates that they locked in back during COVID, or even prior to that time when rates were very low historically. And so a lot of opportunities to gain value there and to use the equity that they've built into their homes. And that's where we really partner well together, is we help them use that equity and you help them get the best value out of that equity.
And interest rates right now are not bad. So people think that we just got lucky. I mean, this is where they probably should be at on the average to make the world work properly. But
Agreed.
I mean,
Yeah.
just talk to your parents and they'll say, yeah, we were way over that. So I started my career at 8 to 9%, and I was happy to get into the 3s. And I have no problem going to get a loan for 6% right now. I have no issue with that number. So don't be terrified over it, because it's minor in the grand scheme of things.
Mhm.
Yeah. Historically speaking, quite a bit lower.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
what refinancing is for. If they ever go down again, you can always refinance and get the
Right.
better rate.
And that's why having a team around, we talk about that and say, hey, when times are good, let's move on.
Yep.
Excellent. Okay. Well, thank you all very much. Appreciate your time. Mike, thanks again for joining us. That's Mike Howe with Mike Howe Builders in Manitowoc, Wisconsin, one of the local experts that we work with. So if you're looking at new construction, building your own home, remodeling, or just giving it a facelift, or, whether that's kitchen, bath, or whatever it might happen to be, finishing a basement, you have a local expert to reach out to. So start there and go. So thank you all very much for your time. Appreciate everyone joining us. No doubt we'll have Mike on again, hopefully in a future podcast episode. Hopefully you had a good enough time here, Mike. It's pretty easy, pretty simple, but thank
I'll
you
be
so much
back.
for sharing your knowledge.
All right.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thanks,
guys. Good
Mike.
to see you. Yep.
Thanks,
All
Mike.
right.
Yep.
Thank
Bye
you
now.
all. Have a great day. Thanks for being a part of United One.